Let me know if my screen is visible. Guys, can you see my screen? Someone please speak if I'm audible.
Yes, sir, दिख रही है screen.
So please, guys, type your name, enrollment number, and section. And by the time people are joining, you may have, if any doubts, you may ask the same. Those who are joining, please type in your name, enrollment number, and section. Please mute your mic. Everyone, please make sure that you have typed your name, enrollment number, and session in the chat box. Okay, guys, let's start. So, in the last class, we have discussed the concept of dynamic method dispatch, and we have seen that uh, a particular method which is available in the parent class, like this class animal, the method eat is there. If this method is overridden in any of the child classes, like the immediate child classes of animals are domestic animal and wild animal, right? So, if they are overridden, and if you make the object of that child class and try to invoke the eat method, the control goes dynamically at the runtime to that particular version of the eat method which is available in the child class, the nearest one, right? Similarly, if there is another child class of wild animal or domestic animal, like for example, cow, which is a child of domestic animal, goat, which is a child of domestic animal or subclass of domestic animal, lion, which is a subclass of a wild animal. So in that case, if these uh, classes, the class lion has also defined their eat versions of the eat method at the runtime, even though the reference might be the any of the super type, but the control will always go to the particular method, the eat method, which is nearest to this line class. And the nearest means the one which is either available in the line class, or if not, then it must be available in the nearest in the hierarchy, up the hierarchy. So any doubts till now? Try let me know. Any questions? Okay. Okay. And you can see that this particular method, which is the hunt method, is something which is an extension, which is an addition, okay, to the animal class as well as to the wild animal class. That means these two classes does not have this hunt method probably. So I have added this hunt method in the lion class, which act as an extension. So the child class are basically the extensions of the parent class. In other words, the subclasses are the extensions of the super class, provided they add something new. They add something new, right? Either in terms of data elements or in terms of behavior. So they are called extensions. And the code which is most common, or the properties or the fields which are most common, we try to move them to the higher level of the hierarchy, right? In the higher level of the hierarchy of inheritance. So in that case, if something which is common to every animal, uh, whether it's a domestic animal or it's a wild animal or any of the subcategories of domestic animal and wild animal, in that case, that particular behavior or the field, I will be willing to move into the animal class to avoid code duplication. That code is available. For example, this is a generalized method. Eat method is generalized method. Okay, animal eating animal food. Number of legs. Every animal will have number of legs. Every animal, I am assuming, has tail. Okay, if it's a bird, I will assume the it has got wings as a tail, whatever. So so these are the properties which I am assuming. I am assuming, not necessarily it's logically correct, but just for the assumption purpose, I am assuming that these particular fields and this particular method is something which is common to every subclass of animal. That means we have either relationship which has to be satisfied from the child class to the parent class. For example, lion is a wild animal as well as lion is a animal, right? So whatever is an animal that will have these properties and the particular method eat as one common behavior and variables which are inherited from the animal class. And this is something which is common. So instead of repeating this code, we have choose to put this code in the supermost parent class. In fact, animal class is not the supermost class. uh, there is a class object, an animal extends object, because I have told you that if any class doesn't extend any other class in Java, then it automatically extends the object class. Object class is the super type or super class of universal superclass rather, right? So, but object is something which is not uh, you know business wise in the hierarchy of this class hierarchy, where animal and domestic and wild animal are there, and different kinds of animal like goat, lion, or cow are there. Okay. So we will see in future classes why object class is made as a universal superclass. Uh, so as of now, I hope this is clear. There are people who are waiting to join. Yeah. Any doubts till this point?
No, sir.
Okay. So we have seen, the examples of the declaration and object creation. Like for example, in this test animal class, uh, uh, we have created a array list, which is a dynamic array that is restricted to take only animal. So if animal is written in this less than greater than symbol, that's called syntax of generics. So it means this animal list can accept only objects of animal or the compatible animals. That means those objects which are animal or which satisfy the either relationship with animal. For example, goat is animal, so I can put goat object into this array list, which has the name animal list with a small. This one, which is highlighted. I can also put animal object also there. I can put the domestic animal or the wild animal object also there in the same list, because animal is the super type of all the subcategories that I am talking about. So all these subcategory or subtype objects can get into the list, because it says that list is going to accept everything which is animal. Everything which is animal, whether it's animal, it's a domestic animal or a wild animal, it's a lion, it's goat, it's cow, whatever. It has to be animal. I cannot put a string in this list. That will give me a compilation error. Then we have seen that, okay, this is a in line number 27. We have declared a1 variable of the type animal, just like int x. Similarly, animal a1. So there is a left side of this line and there is a right side of the line. Okay, so in the left side of the line we have type declaration, and in the right side of the line there is an instruction which will be invoked when the program is running. When the program is running, that means when the program is in the control of Java virtual machine at the runtime. So this is the instruction that create a new object of animal using a constructor, which is a no or constructor. So this is a constructor call. This is not type declaration, but this is a constructor call. So this part says that create a new object by calling this constructor of the animal class, which has no argument, that doesn't take any parameter. Okay, and then assign its reference variable, its address, to a1 reference variable, which is of the type animal. Similarly, we have seen that here, sorry, in here in line number 29, okay, you can see the reference is lion. The reference variable is of the type lion. A2 is of the type lion. And the object also is instructed to be of the lion type. So that's not a problem. In both the cases, the right hand side and the left hand side were the same. Here also, the right hand side and the left hand side were the same. No issues. But here, as you can see, the left hand side, that is the type declaration of A3, is of the type animal class. Whereas the instruction for the real object that will be prepared at the runtime is for the child class goat. Similarly, goes in line number 36, where the reference variable a4 is of the type animal, and the object that will be created, and the address of which object will be assigned to this a4 is of the type cow. So we know that super type can refer to the object of subtypes. So animal can refer to the objects of animal itself. Object animal reference variable can also refer to the object of a domestic animal as well as wild animal, or animal reference object can also refer to the objects of goat, cow, lion, all these subclasses, right? Then in the next lines, we keep on adding these objects through the reference variable by calling the add method on the array list. And the name of the array list reference variable is animal list, which itself is an object. Okay. Uh, then we have called created a new object of the zoo class, and there is a method eat animal in the zoo class that takes a complete list of animal, and then it calls the eat method one by one using the for each loop. And the eat method basically is invoked on the real object which comes at the runtime, whether it be a cow, it be a goat, it be a wild animal, it be a domestic animal, it could be animal also, right? So the reference variable here also is animal. Any questions till now?
No, sir.
Okay. Then in the previous classes we have also discussed that the way this right hand side of, say for example, line number 27 has a role in deciding which overridden method will be invoked at the runtime, right? Because depending upon the object, similarly there is a role of the declaration also on the left hand side. Okay, like for example, if the reference variable is a1 of the type animal, then there was an extension in the uh, in fact, let me change the code a little bit because this example I have taken to show you some error. So let me change it to new line. So animal A1 is of the type. Let's move this code. Okay. Now just look at this line number 27. And A1 is a reference variable of the type animal. Okay. At the runtime, it will get the object of lion. The lion class has got overridden eat method. That means if the eat method is being invoked on A1, then this particular eat method, which prints lion is eating flesh, that will take control and that will be invoked. Plus, lion class has got a hunt method, which is an extension. That means an addition. This hunt method is not available in the animal class. You can see there is no hunt method in the animal class. So lion class has a hunt method, which is an extension, right? So that means the lion class has one overridden method, eat method, which is also available in the parent class animal class, whereas it has an extension, an addition, which has a hunt method, which is not available in the animal class. Now, if we go in the test animal class and if we try to see what are the methods available for execution, then I will just type A1, the reference variable name, and then put a dot operator, and you can see there is a eat method available, right? Because it is also coming from the animal class. So animal class has promised that there is going to be a each method which you can call in on any of the reference variable which is of the type animal, just like A1. So each method is there, but you can see there is no hunt method at all because hunt method is something which is peculiar to or specific to the lion class, and that's an extension. So compiler sees that A1 is of the type animal. So it only allows you to invoke a method which is of the type which are described in the animal class. Nothing more than that. So only eat method is allowed. So eat is available. But I want hunt. So hunt is not available. ठीक है? तो अब इस कंडीशन में हम क्या करेंगे कि if we are for sure that it's going to be a lion, then we can go for explicit task typecasting as we have shown in the last class. So we are telling explicitly line number 21 that okay, this A1 reference variable the compiler sees as animal, but actually it is a lion. So I am casting it into lion, and then after the cast, I will put a bracket. I will open a bracket and I will close the bracket. This whole thing, and then only I will put the hunt method. And in fact, then it will show me the hunt method in the drop down. Also, you will see the hunt method. Okay, the hunt method is there. Okay, then only you can invoke. So reference variable has a role to play, that you can you can invoke or you can assess the variables. When I'm talking about the variables, I'm talking about you can assess the variables. And when I'm talking about the methods, I will say I will invoke the methods. Those methods which are available in the type of the reference variable, that is animal class, not which are extensions, which are available as an extension in the line class. Those are not available unless and until we do an explicit cast. Okay, and this explicit cast may lead to class cast exception we have seen in the previous classes. So that's a runtime exception that will come. Compiler will be satisfied. Compiler will satisfied even you are doing something wrong. Okay, the compiler will be satisfied. Like for example, this is not a line object. This is just an animal object, and it doesn't have a hunt method. Compiler is satisfied. Compiler is not giving me a compilation error. But when we try to run this code, what we will get at this line number 28, it is trying to cast into the line object, which is not actually going to be the real line object. This is going to be the animal object. So no question of running hunt method. So I will get the class cast exception, that you are trying to cast the animal object to a line class, which is not true, which is false. Okay. So this is the problem that we are going to face in that case. If it is line, then no problem. If it is line, then I will have no problem. The control will run successfully. The code will run. So we know that the right hand side of the code, which is the creation of the new object, is actually has a role to play in dynamic method dispatch, and the left hand side of the code has a role to play in deciding that what methods you can invoke or what variables you can access, okay, at the compile time while writing the code. Is this line very clear? Let me
Yes.
repeat. Okay, the right hand side of the code is something which is going to decide about the dynamic method dispatch or dynamic binding, right? Whereas the left hand side of the code is going to decide upon which particular variables or method we can access on the reference variable A1 of the type animal. So that will be only accessible of the type which are available in the animal class. So the variable which are visible as well as the methods which are visible in the animal class, those are called as contract. Those are called as contract. That means the animal classes promises to fulfill the contract, and the contract is you can access these variables if they are visible, not the private variables, and you can invoke the methods which are public, right, which are visible. Okay, or it's not public, they must have a visibility which is allowed to invoke. So there these methods which are available in the animal class as a part of promise or the contract, those are only you are in a position to invoke uh, from uh, from the uh, from the code at the compile time. Now let's start moving ahead. So this was just a quick revision of the previous classes. Let's start moving ahead. So while developing this code, suppose that I am finding a kind of sense. I'm sensing something, that something is wrong over here. For example, I have declared the eat method over here. Okay, and the message says animal eating animal food. So because I am not aware that which animal object it is going to be at the runtime, so this is something which is as a common code available over here. And this so the message is something which is very general in nature, that animal is eating animal food. Okay, but it doesn't make much sense, because if I just say animal, okay, I'm not talking about a particular animal. Okay, if it is a cow, I can say cow eats grass. That makes sense. Okay, or goat eats grass, or lion eats flesh. So we can say that, okay. But when it's something which is more at the higher level of the hierarchy in the class hierarchy, and it's something which is not talked in a clear sense that which particular animal it could be. So probably a behavior like this will not be required to do anything. That means I want to have the eat method over here, but just as a part of the contract, as a part of the promise that on an animal reference variable you will be allowed to run an eat method. But I do not want the eat method to be invoked if they are not overridden in the classes which are at the third level, that is cow, goat, or lion, because they are specifically telling what they are eating. Cow eats grass, goat eats grass, lion eats flesh, and so on. So here is a kind of if I just remove this method at all, let me say I have removed this method, okay, and then let me assume that the goat class will have the eat method either declared inside the goat class or coming from the domestic class. In fact, there is no eat method in the domestic class, as you can see here. So goat class, if we want a eat method in the goat class, we will have to declare its own version. Okay. The lion class already has its own eat method. Similarly, the cow class also has its eat method. But if we delete this eat method from the animal class, then when we create the reference variable of the type animal, and if we want to run the eat method on this animal, that eat method will not be available over here. You can see that in the drop down list there is no eat method, right? Because now eat method is something at the extension, something available at the extension. It's not the part of the contract that even is bound to allow you to invoke the eat method, because eat method is not available in the animal class. Clear हो रही बात guys?
Yes, sir.
Clear? रिपीट करूं?
Yes, sir.
सिंपल सी बात ये है कि अगर आई एम रिपीटिंग द सेम थिंग इन हिंदी, so those who cannot understand Hindi, don't worry, it's just a repetition. अभी एनिमल क्लास के अंदर ईट मेथड मैंने हटा दिया, तो एनिमल क्लास का जो रेफरेंस वेरिएबल है वो जहां भी मैं क्रिएट करूंगा उस रेफरेंस वेरिएबल को, वो मुझे वही मेथड अलाउ करेगा इन्वोक करने के लिए, या वही वेरिएबल एक्सेस करने के लिए अलाउ करेगा जो कि एनिमल क्लास के अंदर एज अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट और एज अ प्रॉमिस अवेलेबल है, राइट? तो टेस्ट एनिमल के अंदर जब हम रेफरेंस वेरिएबल A1 बना रहे हैं, राइट, अगर हम मान लें कि ये लाइन कोड है ही नहीं, तब भी आप देखो हमने इसको हटा ही दिया, बस यहाँ से सेमी कॉलन से टर्मिनेट कर दिया, जैसे इन टेक्स्ट हम डिक्लेयर करते हैं वैल्यू दिए बिना। अब यहाँ पे अगर मैं देखना चाहूँ, इसके अंदर हैश टेल दिखेगा, बिकॉज हैश टेल इज द पार्ट ऑफ एनिमल क्लास, but I won't be able to see the eat method because eat method has been removed from the animal class. ठीक है? अगर ये ऑब्जेक्ट लॉयन का हो, ठीक है, तो भी हमें ईट मेथड नहीं दिखेगा, क्योंकि रेफरेंस वेरिएबल में ईट मेथड अब नहीं है, यानी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में या प्रॉमिस में जो कि एनिमल टाइप का है उसमें ईट मेथड नहीं है, अब भी मुझे ईट मेथड नहीं दिखेगा जब तक मैं इसको इसको कास्ट न कर लूँ, जब तक मैं लाइन को कास्ट न कर लूँ लाइन में। ठीक है, तो ईट मेथड जो है वो एनिमल के प्रॉमिस में था, और एनिमल के प्रॉमिस से मैंने हटा दिया तो वो मुझे नहीं दिख रहा है। यानी अगर मैं चाहता हूं कि कोई ऐसा मेथड हो जो बेसिकली अवेलेबल हो सारे ही क्लासेस के अंदर, लेकिन उनका जो बिहेवियर हो उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन हमेशा चाइल्ड क्लास की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी हो। ओके, फॉर दोज हु आर non Indian background, so what I'm saying is that if I wish to have some behavior present in the super type, which is the animal class, which should only be available as a contract or as a promise. ठीक है, and I do not want them to to have their implementation in this parent class, and let the implementation be the responsibility of the child classes only. That means the goat class, the lion class, and the cow classes, because they know what they eat, right? Animal doesn't know what it is. It's a very general thing, right? So in that case, what I can do is I have a provision to let have this method eat without the body. I'm going to remove the body of the eat method. Okay. So here I will put a semicolon. So this is just the signature of the method. But for that, I will have to put a keyword abstract. I will have to put a keyword abstract. And as soon as I put a keyword abstract, okay, this class should also become a abstract class. That means I will have to put a keyword abstract here also in the class also. And you can see the error goes. The compilation error goes. So this is a declaration of a method, not the implementation of a method. I am just declaring the method eat inside the animal class as the abstract method, abstract behavior. And if I have defined even a single method as abstract method, then my responsibility is to declare the whole class as abstract. Unless you do this, you will get a compilation error. Now, if I do this, what is the benefit that I will get? The benefit that I will get is now A1 will be in a position to invoke the eat method, because A1 has got the declaration of the eat method. It has got the promise of the eat method. Okay? Right. See. Acha, I probably missed to save this file. Okay. Let me save this file. Now the error must go. You see, the error is gone. No. Okay. So I can invoke the eat method over here. Now it's possible. I am invoking the eat method on the reference variable A1, which is of the type animal, and the left hand side of the reference variable, that is the type declaration, basically is in charge of deciding which particular method is going to be invoked at the compile time, which you can write at the for the invocation at the compile time, or the variable which you can access both. You know. So सर डिस्टर्ब नहीं होगा आप लोग को चलते रहे okay guys. So just by providing a declaration, that is a method signature, without a implementation, that is I have skipped the body, method signature is terminated by a semicolon, the implementation is not available. So I have fulfilled the promise that this animal method instance variable will be allowed to have the eat method, available as part of the code while we compile the code. But what about the implementation? Unless there is an implementation, the eat method cannot actually work at the runtime. So it's the responsibility of the child class, every child class, which is a non-abstract class. This is abstract class. Animal class has become an abstract class because we have put a abstract keyword over there. So all the subclasses which doesn't have the abstract keyword, they are the concrete classes. They are called as concrete classes. This is the abstract class. The domestic animal is a concrete class. Okay, I will prefer the word concrete class for them. They don't have the abstract method. They don't have a behavior which is abstract. So this domestic animal, if this is non-abstract class, then it must implement a eat method. It's a responsibility for it. So you can see the error coming over here, the compilation error, and the compilation error says the type domestic animal must implement the inherited abstract method animal.eat. That means there is a eat method in the animal, which is only meant for the purpose of satisfying the compiler for the type declaration. Okay, that this particular method could be invoked on that particular type, right? And this eat method must have a body. Okay, it must have a body. So because the animal class has become the abstract class, so the responsibility doesn't remain with the animal class to provide the body of the eat method, which is the abstract method, and the responsibility shifted to the child classes. So the immediate child class is domestic animal and wild animal, right? So you can see the wild animal has got the eat method. So I'm not getting a compilation error in the wild animal, correct? Wild animal is eating wild food, whereas the domestic animal have not decided the eat method as of now. So it says that there is an unimplemented method, that is the eat method, and what I can do is I can just write an eat method over here. So let me change the message: domestic animal eating domestic food. Okay, and the compiler is satisfied. Okay, so whether the real object at the runtime is going to be of domestic animal or the wild animal or any of the child classes of the domestic and the wild animal, there is always an implemented method eat which is available in these classes in this level of hierarchy, which will be there even though the child class goat or lion doesn't choose to override it. Then also they will inherit either from the domestic animal or from the wild animal, the eat method. Okay, but the purpose of eat method in the animal class is just for a kind of declaration that you can invoke eat method on any reference variable which is of the type animal. So this particular method is defined as abstract method, and the animal class is defined as abstract class. Okay? If you have a single method which is abstract method, then the whole class has to become an abstract class. That's the rule. Okay. Now, from your C++ classes, can anyone give me a formal definition of the abstract, or rather the abstraction term itself? What is abstraction? Anyone, please?
Hiding essential things.
Okay, hiding, hiding essential things.
Sorry, sir. Hiding the certain details and showing only which are not important to show the users.
Okay, so you are showing the essential details, but hiding the things which are not very important.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Hiding unwanted information.
I won't say unwanted information, but rather I would say which are not too important at certain point. ठीक है, एक बार हम गूगल करके देख लेते हैं फॉर्मल डेफिनेशन क्या
Process of reducing the object.
है. कम अगेन, व्हाट डिड यू से?
इंटरनल डाटा को सर छुपाता है सर।
Process of
डाटा को
reducing the
छुपाना,
object.
डाटा को नहीं छुपाना बल्कि इंफॉर्मेशन को छुपाना.
यस सर।
डाटा को जब भी आप डाटा की बात करेंगे तो आप वेरिएबल्स पे आएंगे. अभी यहाँ मेथड की बात हो रही है, तो मेथड का इंफॉर्मेशन क्या है, उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन जो है वो इंफॉर्मेशन है.
सर
ओके,
इंफॉर्मेशन को सर छुपाता है सर यूजर से सर, जो कि और
राइट
इंफॉर्मेशन सर देता है क्योंकि यूजर को सर जरूरत हो।
राइट. So if just we go for the literal meaning of abstraction in the dictionary, you can see the quality of dealing with ideas rather than events. ठीक है, यानी मतलब आपके पास एक आइडिया है लेकिन एक्चुअली क्या उस आइडिया के साथ होने वाला है वो आपको नहीं पता है. ठीक है, इसको अगर हम समझना चाहें तो ऐसे समझिए कि इस एनिमल क्लास में आप यू हैव गॉट द आइडिया दैट देयर इज अ ईट मेथड, and a eat method could be invoked on any of the reference variable of the animal class. But how that eat method is going to behave, that is hidden here. So the essential details that this eat method is has got a visibility of public. It doesn't returns anything. It has a return type of void. It doesn't take a parameter. So these are the essential details. So these are the essential details. That is the signature here is talked as essential details is available. Whereas the implementation details, which is the actual event, that is basically hidden from here, and that will be available in the child class, which basically overrides it. So if we have a child class like domestic element, so here we have got the eat method which provides the details to that essential part, that how this method will be implemented, what this method is going to do. So this is going to print a specific unique message, right? क्लियर है? थोड़ा सा टेक्निकल टर्म में देख लेते हैं इसकी डेफिनेशन. W3 स्कूल्स में देख लेते हैं क्या है डेफिनेशन इसकी. ओके. Abstraction is the process of hiding certain details and showing only essential information to the user. ठीक है. यानी hiding certain details, जब भी we are talking about hiding certain details, so that is the detail about the implementation, how it will work. But we are showing the essential information to the user, that means the information about the signature, that is what is the return type of the particular behavior, what is going to be the parameters that it will take. Okay. So if this thing is known, even though if we change the implementation, the essential detail will remain intact. Agree, guys? If we have a call to a particular method from any place in the code, then the call depends upon this abstraction, that is the essential detail, the method signature, that what it is going to return or what parameter it is going to take. If this thing is remain unchanged, then in that case, even though we change the implementation of the behavior, okay, then that particular behavior will take the control, but the client code which is actually calling that particular routine will remain unchanged, and there will be no compilation error. That means your code is not going to break. Okay. When you are coding, you will try to write a code in such a way that you strive for minimum, you know, breaking of the code, unnecessary breaking of the code. That means any part of the code which is a dependent code must not, result in a code which shows start showing the compilation error, a new compilation error. So that is the purpose, because then you have to track down and then you have to fix all those things. Then it will go to a testing cycle, then integration, then it will be promoted to deployment, you know the machine, and all things. There's a long process that will be repeated in that case. So what we did is basically in the parent class we felt as if that the eat method behavior, the message that we were printing, that animal eating animal food, is something very general, and this should not be in the control of animal class or the object of the animal class. Rather, it should be shifted to the child classes. Okay. So the first level of subclass of the child class is domestic element animal and the wild animal. So we have shifted the responsibility to the domestic animal and the wild animal. Okay. If we want that this responsibility should be handled only by the lowest level of the class hierarchy, that is goat, lion, or cow, not by the domestic animal and the wild animal, because they are still, they're printing a message which is very general. So in that case, we can still choose not to have the implementation of the eat method in both the domestic animal as well as the wild animal. That is quite possible. But in that case, these wild animal and domestic animal are inheriting a method eat from the animal class which is unimplemented, which doesn't have a body. It doesn't have a body. So these classes, domestic animal and wild animal, they are inheriting this particular eat method. Now, if I want to keep it this way, what I will have to do, I will have to make these classes also abstract. Okay, the compilation will go now. Now, it's the responsibility of the third layer, the lion, goat, and the cat or fish or dog or whatever, the cow, the animals which are at the subclass, which are actually the real animals that make sense to the zoo management application that we are talking about. Okay, so we have to create this class also as an abstract class. Similarly, for domestic animal also, let me go here and just fix it as an abstract class. I will just put the abstract keyword and this class becomes abstract. Now, see, the goat class doesn't have the eat method. It started giving the error. Earlier, it was not giving the error because it was inheriting the eat method from the domestic animal which has got the implementation. Now, we are forced to provide a implementation of the eat method. I will just click on this yellow balloon and I will have the option to add unimplemented method. I will click on it. You see, override annotation has come. That means this particular method has been overridden, which has been declared somewhere up the hierarchy, right? And that up the hierarchy is the animal class. And here I can provide the implementation, right? That the compilation error goes. So the responsibility is being shifted from the super classes to the child classes if the super classes has choose to have those responsibility as abstract responsibility. That means those behavior as a abstract behavior or those method or function as a abstract method or function. It shifts to the child class. So in this case, the animal class has chosen to have the eat method as a abstract method, which just shows only the essential information, not the implementation. Then the immediate child class, the domestic class, domestic animal and the wild animal, they get their first responsibility, and then I choose to declare them also as abstract classes, so that they are also shifting the responsibility down the hierarchy to the goat, lion, or the cow classes. So they also doesn't have the obligation to define the eat method, and the control comes to the goat method, the lion method, and the cow class. And you can see there must be an eat method available in all these classes. Otherwise, this class will start complaining with the compilation error. The goat class has got the eat method. The lion class has got the eat method plus an extension of hunt method. Similarly, the cow class has got the eat method, right? Now, as you can see, I have defined one method which is an abstract method, that is the eat method in the abstract class animals. Even declaring a single method as abstract class makes the whole class abstract. I will have to put abstract keyword before the whole class. I can further have methods which are non-abstract. For example, if I want to have a method which I am just putting in the animal code, which makes sense just to make sure that there is a common code that is available to all the subtypes down the hierarchy. So I will declare that particular method over here. Okay. Say for example, this application is for example we are developing for a zoo management system, right? So let's say that we want to have a method that should return the date uh, on which a particular animal has been brought to the zoo. So let's have a date, a field which represents the date. Let's, as of now, just represent it with a string. Date of coming in zoo, for example. Okay, this is the variable. Now, let me say I want to declare a method, which is of course should be a getter method of this particular variable. So I will just right click on the code. I will use the ID to generate a getter method. That is more easier for me. I will choose uh, this getter and setter method. The get date of coming to zoo, coming in zoo, and set date of coming in zoo. So these two methods are there. I will say generate. These two methods have come. Now, as you can see, this method is available for every animal. It doesn't make any difference, as in the case of each method, that whether the lion is eating a different food or cow is eating a different food and a goat is eating a different food, and that the eat calling a eat method will make sense only in the case when a particular object of that particular class uh, takes the control of doing something. The date of coming in zoo could be of a very very general sense, that it could belong to whatever animal that I am talking about. Whether in the real time it's a object of lion, cow, or goat, whatever, they have a date of coming in the zoo, right? So it's just a date. It's just a plain date which is associated with a particular animal, a unique animal. So it makes us to put this code as a common code in the animal class that should be available to all the subclasses. Okay, I'm doing this just to avoid the code duplication. Rather, I'm preferring code reusability here. Now, this class, animal class, which is an abstract class, has got a combination of behaviors or the methods which are abstract and the behaviors or the methods which are non-abstract. That means some behavior, that is the each method has not got the body, it has got only essential information available, right? But some methods like get date of coming in zoo and set date of coming in zoo have got the proper body. They have got the implementation. They have got some code which will be executed when they are invoked. And I do not actually need to override these particular methods in any of the child classes also. I'm doing this just for the sake of taking the common code at the top level. So they are available for all the subclasses. Okay? So the definition of abstract class is a class which can have both abstract behavior as well as non-abstract behavior, right? And a class, we will say a concrete class like a cow class, which only can have the implementation, a method which has got the implementation. So it cannot declare a method as an abstract method. So this class, which doesn't have the abstract keyword over here, and it doesn't have an abstract method, abstract behavior, we call this class as a concrete class that has got everything concrete. That means the implementation is available for every method, whether they are being inherited from the parent classes or the super classes, or they have got their own methods. But there has to be implementation. Guys, clear till now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So a normal class, which I'm saying as a concrete class, is something which must have an implementation of every method. And a class which is an abstract class has no obligation to have the implementation of every method. It can have a combination. It can have a combination of methods which have the body, that means implementation, or it can have methods which doesn't have the body, that means just the abstraction or the abstract methods. So both the things you are getting over here in the abstract class. Now, because this abstract class, they may not have the implementation of even a, one single method or one single behavior. So it is not possible for me to create an object of such classes which are abstract, right? So if I want to try this code, like if I go to the test animal class and let me write code instead of animal a1 is equal to new lion, let me change it to new animal. Okay, and you see I will immediately get a compilation error. Cannot instantiate the type animal. That means I cannot create an object of the type animal because this animal class has got at least, there is a possibility because this class is declared abstract, so there is a possibility that it has got at least probably a single method which is unimplemented, which doesn't have the body. So if the compiler will allow you to create the object of this particular class, then think that in the runtime you can also need to execute the next line of the code, which is a1.eat. And at the runtime, the object will be of animal type, not of the lion type or the goat type or the cow type, which has got the eat implementation. It will be of the type animal type. So being the animal type which doesn't have the body of the eat method, the JVM would not be in a position to, you know, decide what to do with this line of code. You are asking to invoke an eat method on the reference variable, and the reference variable is pointing to the object of the animal class, which has got only the declaration and no implementation. That means the JVM will be not in a position to actually run this method because there is no actual implementation, the body of the code available with this object, class object, right? So that is the reason why the compiler knows this, and it's going to give a compilation error just while writing the code, that you cannot instantiate the type animal. You cannot create an object of the type animal because it's an abstract class. You can only create the object of the classes which are non-abstract, that is, the concrete classes. Guys, understood?
Yes, sir.
You are getting the reason also why you are not allowed to instantiate a abstract class. Let me know if you need repetition. I can repeat.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, yeah, Wasibuddin.
Sir, solve network problem था.
Okay. Anyways, even in the case of network problem, you will ultimately get the videos uploaded. So those who are having difficulty with the network, they will get the recorded lectures. For those who are actually uh, able to listen things clearly, I'm asking them, have you been in a position to understand the reason?
Will you please repeat one more time?
Okay. Yes. Listen carefully. So what is happening is this animal class has got the eat method, right? And this animal class is abstract because this eat method is abstract, correct? The While saying that this eat method is abstract, that means this eat method is actually doesn't have a body. This doesn't have an implementation. So if someone is allowed to invoke this particular version of the eat method, it's not possible because there is no body. And when there is no body, then what action will be taken? There has to be something, some statements in the implementation. Those statements are something which needs to be invoked, right? So if at the runtime you get an object of line class, for example, even referred by the reference variable of animal class, so the object will be of the line class at the runtime. So that object will have a overridden implemented version of the eat method because line class is not a abstract class. It has got a eat method body available over here. So this code is going to take the control that system.eat.println line is eating fresh. So if it is clear that the object in the runtime is going to be of the line class, then no problem. We have got at least implementation of the eat method because line class is not a abstract class. It doesn't say that it may contain any method which doesn't have the definition, right? Whereas the animal class has got the method which has got only the declaration, the essential part, not the definition. It doesn't have the implementation part. So if the compiler will allow you to write a code wherein you can invoke the eat method on the reference variable of animal, then at the time of execution, the JVM will give a runtime exception that there is no actual body to the animal object if the object is also animal in that case. ठीक है, तो जैसा हमने टेस्ट एनिमल में करा है, if this code is allowed, अगर ये कोड अलाउड होता तब क्या होता, एनिमल क्लास का ऑब्जेक्ट बन के रन टाइम भी आता. ठीक है, रेफरेंस वेरिएबल में चूंकि ईट मेथड डिक्लेरेशन के फॉर्म में मौजूद है तो a1.eat ये लाइन अलाउड है, और ये लाइन चूंकि अलाउड है तो क्या होगा, ईट मेथड रन करने की कोशिश करेगा जेवीएम किस पर, रेफरेंस वेरिएबल a1 पर, जो कि है ऑब्जेक्ट किसका है, एक्चुअल एनिमल टाइप का है. अब एनिमल टाइप का जो ऑब्जेक्ट है उसके बाद तो सिर्फ डिक्लेरेशन है, यानी एसेंशियल पार्ट है, लेकिन डिटेल्स तो नहीं है ना, करना क्या है उस रन मेथड में. वो मेथड तो अनडिफाइंड है, एब्स्ट्रैक्ट मेथड है. तो क्या होगा, अगर अगर ये लाइन अलाउड होती, कंपाइलर इसको अलाउ करता, तो क्या होता, कोड आपको यहाँ पे रन टाइम एक्सेप्शन देता. ठीक है, और रन टाइम एक्सेप्शन जो होते हैं वो सरप्राइज के तौर पे आते हैं, क्योंकि कंपाइलर अगर आपको कोई चीज दिखा रहा है एरर तो आप उसको फिक्स कर सकते हैं. even before you start execution of the code. But if you cannot see a particular problem that might occur at the runtime and that is not available in the compile time, then there is a problem. That's a more difficult thing to handle, because at the runtime it is going to show the error, and probably your clients are going to see that particular error at the runtime, and they will be annoyed. Okay, sometimes you are running an application or a website, and you something see some weird uh, error coming over there. That's because there is a runtime exception. There is a runtime error, a problem that has occurred at the execution time of the particular code. So the the people who are writing the compiler, they try to make sure that they can handle the maximum possible problem at the compile time itself. So what they have done is they will not allow this to happen. They don't allow the object of the animal class to be created, because this object, if they allow to create, then you are free to call the eat method, which is unimplemented in the animal class, right? So this is a compilation error. You won't be allowed to do this, or if you want, you can have this as a line class. Then it's okay. The line has got its own implemented version of the eat method. So at the runtime, it's sure that there will be a implemented eat method version available in the object. So the compiler sees this and it allows you to compile this particular code. Okay. Even uh, if you're trying to create an object of domestic animal, for example, which is again an abstract class. Okay, so that is also not possible because domestic animal also is an abstract class, and that means this domestic animal may not have any method which needs implementation. And in fact, here you can see the eat method is being inherited from the animal class, and that eat method doesn't have the implementation. So it will be inherited just the way animal class has declared. That means only the signature, the essential part, no body, no implementation. So you cannot have the object for domestic animal created, because in that case, if you create the object, then you can again you will be the JVM will be under the obligation of execution of that particular method, the eat method, which is not possible, right? So to avoid the runtime exception or runtime error, the compiler doesn't lets you create the object of the state class itself at the first hand itself. Okay, so your compiler is the first level of defense. It will try to protect as to the certain level as possible, that you are not going to get the problems in the future at the time of execution of the program. But still you will certainly have some issues which could not be handled by the compiler because of their nature of the problem. So then you get the error at the compile time, just like we have seen in the previous classes, the null pointer exception, the class exceptions. Okay, all these exceptions are there. We have seen the problems are there. So is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other doubts?
No, sir. Clear.
Okay. Okay, so I am stopping the lecture for today. I will upload the lecture. See, it is a very important lecture. Uh, Try to go through it, but provided you have already uh, gone through the past lectures and understood the past lecture, then only you will be able to understand this. If not, then you will have to start from the beginning. We have already passed more than half of the time. Do it as quickly as possible. Otherwise, in the beginning of the class itself, when we started the session, I've told you that if you do not keep on working hard along with me, along with the regular classes, then the time will come when you will not be able to understand a single word. ठीक है? अगर प्रोफेशनल लेवल पे सीखना है तो प्रोफेशनल लेवल पे उसकी कुछ कुछ रिक्वायरमेंट भी होती है कि आपको उस लेवल तक मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी. ठीक है? So just try to complete your past pending revisions, and we will proceed in the next class. I'm dropping the call. Thank you, guys.